Hello everybody, John12 back here again with another video, and I'm here to give you my review for Gotham Season 2, Episode 1, titled Rise of the Villains, Damned If You Do. Now, if you've not seen this episode, please go check it out because this review may contain spoilers. Then again, I really have a lot to shit about this show and rant. So, more of it is just going to be like me shitting on it. But that being said, let's just get into the show itself. Of course, Gotham Season 2 is the grand return to the most, at least one of, because there was a lot last year, but one of the most infamous and disappointing comic book TV shows of last year. Now, granted, as I'm stating that, you're probably guessing that I hate Gotham. No, I do not hate Gotham. I just hate the idea that it exists. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's kind of where I'm standing, and that's where I'm coming from. But on that fact, I know that there's a lot of people who love Gotham and are fans of the show, and that's great, and I'm not saying you should stop. I'm definitely saying that this review may not be the best fucking place for you, so let's just get that out of the way. But overall, let's just get into the overall spoilers, and of course, discussion of this episode. Of course, it's definitely taking place after everything that went to hell last season with Penguin taking out Fish Mooney. He's now the big, grand mob boss of Gotham. Barbara, goes to Arkham Asylum. Who really cares? Gordon is off the force. He completely loses his badge. Doesn't work for Gotham PD anymore due to Commissioner Loeb despising him and having a big butting of the heads. You have Harvey, who I really don't care for anymore, but he works at a bar. Okay. And then you have Bruce, who is hands down my favorite character of the entire show, who doesn't really get any kind of real limelight. Essentially has discovered, with the help of Alfred, of course, discovered his father's I guess Batcave, if you will. It's not really the legitimate Batcave of the comic books, but it's I guess you can just call it like Batcave, 0.1 or something, 0.0. It's the first wave of what the Batcave will become, or essentially might become. It really depends. We don't know. It really depends on where the writers of Gotham really want to go with it, but that's essentially what it is. Overall, the episode, I think, there's a lot of things that are fun about it, and there's a lot of things that are funny about it, but I don't think that's the best way to go with it. I feel like there was, when I was watching it halfway, the first thing that came to my head was, Gotham Season 2 especially, but Gotham as a whole, it's kind of like this generation's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's super freaking campy and unserious, and when they try to be very serious and dark, it just comes off as campy. Doesn't anybody feel, you have this fucking asshole running around with an idiot costume, calling himself Zardon or whatever the fuck. Come on, doesn't that just scream Power Rangers? Somebody needs to punch whoever wrote this character in the face. And then he has, this weird liquid goo inside of him, whatever, and every time he burps, he has this horrible CGI blue smoke coming. Come on, guys. Come on. But overall, the episode, there are some interesting things about it. Of course, the Penguin's back doing his thing. I love Lord Taylor's, performance as the I just wish they could just make this show the Penguin show. He's the best part of the show, let's face it. We are not here, we're supposed to be here for Gordon. And as much as I love Ben's performance as Gordon, Ben fucking kills it as Gordon. He's fucking great. But his story arc, at least for now, seems very uninteresting. I don't really know where he's going, and the way he tries to achieve coming back into the Force is really 180 from what we know to be really the true Jim Gordon. And I guess that's okay because this is the early years, this is the young Gordon, this is the Gordon we never really knew, so I guess it's okay for them to take that approach. But for me, as being a hardcore Batman fan, it's just what the fuck did you do to one of the most beloved Batman characters? It's just, and I get it, Gordon is, the number one character who gets fucked over in the Batman mythos. Come on, his family alone gets fucked over on a daily basis from the Joker. So I get it. He's bound and inevitably going to be fucked over by Gotham as a whole. But I mean, like, him doing the things he did to help out Penguin, that so Penguin would owe him a favor to overall fuck over Commissioner Loeb, is kind of just, it was unnecessary. I felt like they could have done a better way to achieve Gordon coming back to GCPD, but the way they did it was just horrible. Another really interesting fact about this episode, and I'm guessing the overall scope of the season, is that they're really giving minor characters a lot more to do. Like characters like Edward, they definitely had him have a really great scene, which I think is a great thing because a lot of people were kind of like 50-50 about Edward last year because they felt like him killing people and, you know, going all crazy at the later half of season 1 was kind of stupid, and him having this obsession with that girl was stupid. But with this specific episode, it kind of gives me some real promise that he can go somewhere, which I really, and he's going somewhere that I like to see. And that's the interesting part. He has this really interesting dual identity, which makes sense, because a lot of characters, especially in the Batman mythos, specifically the villains, deal with split personalities. You know, you have Batman Bruce Wayne, you have Dick Grayson Robin, you have Barbara, you know, Batgirl, you have, you know, Harvey Dent Two-Face, you know, you have all, you know, there's just so many characters with dual identity, you know, personality disorders, that it makes sense for Riddler to have this kind of a problem, especially this early on in his life. So I'm okay with that. I really like that. But then there's other characters that they're definitely giving way too much screen time, like Barbara. Now, I know I bitched the shit out of this last time with Season 1. I despise Barbara Keene. I hate that character. Her character was hands down the most disappointing and uninteresting and unwatchable character of last season. It's just true. I mean, like, after the whole Victor Zsasz capturing thing, I really had zero interest in watching her in anything. However, it seems like they definitely wanted to do something with her that was 180 of what their first intentions were, which is to make her a villain, which doesn't really make that much sense because in the whole scope of things, she's supposed to, I guess, get back together with Gordon, but but because of how horribly the Gotham writers wrote her, I don't care, and I don't want to see that. I want Gordon to hang out with freaking Tompkins because the actress who plays her is awesome, great, and freaking hot as hell. I mean, granted, she's going off and Maureen is going off. The actress who obviously plays Tompkins is going off and doing awesome stuff. You know, she voices characters on fucking The Flash, and she's, going to premiere in Deadpool, which is one of my many anticipated comic book movies of next year. I can't wait to see her in that shit. But she's one of the best parts of this show, and I get this really deep, dark feeling inside of me, in the back of my head, that the Gotham writers have dark plans for her. They're definitely going to do something, as in, they're going to break her and Gordon up, they're either going to write her off, or she's going to die because of Barbara. And that idea pisses the living shit out of me, because I do not want to see that. I like her character more than Barbara's, but unfortunately the Gotham writers want to make Barbara more of a fucking interesting character, but I just don't care in the first place because of how much they failed with her. So I don't really know what they can do with her now. Obviously she's going to be hanging out with the rest of the rogues, with freaking, Jerome and, the freaking Paul Costa of the Gotham universe. I know how much he hates it when I say that, but it's fucking true. He can't deny it. I mean, they just look the same, but whatever. And then you bring me up to, I bring myself up to my next topic, which is Jerome. Why the hell is Jerome back? I mean, granted, don't get me wrong, I love the actor who plays Jerome. I loved his performances on Shameless. He's like one of my favorite characters on that show. Shameless is one of my favorite shows. Their last couple of seasons have been kind of meh, but still pretty good show overall. But at the end of the day, why is Jerome back? I mean, I know and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people who loved the Jerome character on that episode. I think it was the Blind Fortune Teller episode of Season 1. A lot of people liked that episode. A lot of people liked the character Jerome, and they found it very interesting. And I get that. I fully understand that. I just don't care, and I don't really want to see more of him. It has nothing to do with the actor, and it has nothing to do with his performance. It's just the idea of him being in the show aggravates me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the Joker. He's definitively my favorite comic book villain. Hell, my favorite villain in general. The Joker's the best. No one can beat him. Not Loki, not Tom Hiddleston. No, nobody can beat the Joker. It's just a definitive stamp on villainry. However, if that's even a word. However, the thing is that, and I said this last year, I beat it over the head last year, but fuck it, I'm going to say it again, regardless of how much it pisses everyone off. You can't have a Joker without a Batman. This show has no Batman, hence no Joker. Why are the Gotham writers trying so hard to make this kid the Joker? It's just freaking unnecessary. And plus, I also am not a really big fan of the criminal mastermind Joker prior to being the Joker. You know, like, they kind of did this in the New 52, although they never gave him a name, and they never really straight up called him the Joker. They kind of did this in, like, I want to say it was Batman Zero Year. If you've never read that specific issue from Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, who obviously are one of the best writer and artist team writing for DC right now. They're writing, obviously, the Batman comics, and they wrote a specific storyline, Batman Zero Year, which is their interpretation of the origin story, or at least the first year of Batman being Batman in the New 52 universe continuity. And in there, they had a character called Red One, if I'm not mistaken, and he was supposed to be the origin of the Joker, of how the Joker exists in that universe. And they kind of played it off as like he was always a villain, and he was, you know, a criminal mastermind controlling the Red Hood gang and all this kind of crazy shit, and he was like really wacky and crazy, and he was a psychopath, all that kind of crazy stuff, which is cool, but you never showed his face, and you never gave him a name. That's why it was so interesting, because it's like, is that the Joker? But with this version, the Gotham writers are trying to do the same thing, but it fails because of, one, they gave him a face, two, they gave him a freaking name, and three, they're so on the nose with their villains, especially the villains we all know and love, like Selina, and I guess Penguin to a certain extent, if you will, and all these other kind of characters. It's like, come on, you could have done better, and if you can't, don't do it at all. And once again, you can't have a Joker without a Batman, and Jerome is full on the Joker, pre-Joker. He's pre-Joker. He's pre-Ultra Joker. He's not Joker, but he's channeling the Joker. It's just, what are you doing? Stop it. Just stop. Please. You're hurting me in a way that I want to hurt someone, and that's not a good thing. However, at the end of the day, I have to give this a rating, this episode a rating. It wasn't the greatest premiere to a season that I've seen so far. I mean, like, it's a decent like, I know I kind of bitched a lot about it in this review, but I can't help it. There's just a lot, like, for every good thing that the Gotham writers do, there's like 1,000 other things that just aggravate me and piss me off, and I wish they just didn't do. So I have to give it a 5 out of 10. It's a decent episode. There are certain good things about it, like Penguin. Penguin's the, like, come on, Robin Lord Taylor, he's just so good as the Penguin. I wish they could have just made the show all about the Penguin, because that was the best thing that the Gotham writers wrote. Little Bruce Wayne doing his thing with trying to discover what's inside his father's secret lair, if you will, with the help of Alfred. I love their little jokes together with, you know, like, oh, if you're going to create a bomb, you're going to need this, this, and that. I like those moments. Like, I find it funny, like, the most unintentionally linear storyline that the Gotham writers write for this show is the more interesting than the actual, you know, plot. Like, the actual plot is so whatever that the subplots are better than what, you know, the main storyline is. You know, like Jim Gordon versus crime, you know, him trying to get back on the force, you know, this whole stupid, you know, like, villains rising thing, which doesn't make sense because there's not even that many, and we don't even know half these characters because they're all freaking fictional and, you know, made up for the show and all that kind of crazy stuff. And on top of that, you know, I'm just saying, like, the best parts are the subplots. They're just better. I mean, the Bruce Wayne, I mean, like, I said this before, why Gotham should have been like, Marvel's Daredevil. Like, Jeff Loeb. Jeff Loeb those who don't know, was an amazing Batman writer. He wrote amazing Batman books. Hush, The Long Halloween, just to name a few. However, he's in charge of Marvel TV. And he was in charge of, or at least one of the many people in charge of Daredevil. Marvel's Netflix series Daredevil. Why couldn't we have that over here? Like, I just don't get that. And this is a big problem because, and I know I'm going into a rant here, but stick with me. Hang on with me. DC Entertainment's president, Diane Nelson, was talking about the connections between the movie universes and the TV universes. And she named Bruno Heller by name, discussing that if it wasn't for him doing stuff like Gotham, we wouldn't have, like, original shows. And I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but that quote really got to me, and it just made me think. It's like, Bruno Heller, does this show really interest you, dude? Like, I just want to know, and I sound like I'm bitching to everyone, but just stick with me. Like, is this a story that interests you to the point you want this to continue? Like, it just really, like, I really don't know. It really makes you think, like, is this a show like the origins, like the way, way, way back origins of, like, Gordon trying to take on crime without a Batman? Is that really that interesting? I mean, granted, there have been comic books that have done that before, you know, and that's understandable, but, God, it's like, you know, my dreams of having a Batman TV show, like a legitimate Batman TV show with an actual actor with a freaking cape and cowl, and calling himself the Dark Knight, and he looks badass, and he kicks ass, and he does shit, and he gets shit done, probably is not going to happen. I have a better chance of watching a legit Batman on TV on Marvel's Daredevil series, which is a freaking superior show, and fucking awesome. It's the Batman origins of what this show should have been. However, without comparing like an asshole, I still found some interesting aspects about the show that I will continue watching Season 2 for. I'm not going to review every single episode like I kind of quasi did with last season. I didn't review all of last Season 1, however, there are a few episodes that I did review, and I guess I'll be doing the same thing here. I will not be reviewing every episode, but whenever there's like an extremely awesome episode that premieres, I'll probably end up watching and reviewing it. And of course, for season finales like the mid-season finale or the actual Season 2 finale, I'll definitely be reviewing. But overall, this season definitely feels like it's trying to go in a different direction. Obviously, it's Rise of the Villains. That's, you know, hence the title. It's the overall theme of the series, Season 2, obviously. So I'm definitely interested to see where they definitely go with it, but there's a lot of things that I just don't care. I really don't know where Gordon's going to go now that he has, you know, his badge back. What does that mean? I'm not really interested in Barbara. I really don't want to see how she comes in between, you know, Gordon and fucking Tompkins. I really don't know. Jerome, well, come on. And then you have little Bruce Wayne and Penguin doing their thing, which is the most interesting and awesome things to watch about this show. They're probably the two main reasons you should be watching this show, which is freaking Bruce Wayne's story and his rise to possibly become Batman, I hope, someday, when I'm still alive and this show is still on air. And Penguin's, you know, continuous shitting on everyone, which is hilarious and awesome, because Robin Lord Taylor kills it. He's the best part of this show. Anyways, comment below. Let me know what you personally think about Gotham Season 2, Episode 1. I personally did not love it. I liked it. There was a few things that were interesting, but overall, there's just a whole bunch of things that it feels like they're just like, I feel like what I said with Arrow Season 4 trailer. It just feels like Gotham is basically continuing the mistakes that they did with Season 1, and they're making new ones. It just feels unnecessary. And also, they featured, I forgot to mention, they featured the main villain for this show, and I'm not going to say his name because I completely forgot, and it's completely doesn't really matter. You know, obviously, if you have watched anything Gotham, you know what I mean. It's the dude with his sister that you've seen in the trailers, that couple. They're the main villains of the show. I really don't understand what his scheme is. It doesn't really make sense, and like, why'd you need this really extremely random group of characters with freaking Barbara and Jerome, two of my most least, you know, wanted characters on this show, on your team. It didn't really make that much sense. I guess I understand what he's trying to do. He wants to take over Gotham using the help of Arkham Asylum's finest or whatever. But really, come on. You had a chick, you have your sister who fucking uses a whip and kills people like a fucking boss. You really need fucking a bunch of random dudes and that one chick? Come on. But whatever. Let's see what happens with them. I really have I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen with them. They're also not really comic book characters, so you don't really need to care if they were, if they're based off, any kind of Batman mythos character. It doesn't really matter. They're characters obviously written for the show. But overall, once again, completely unwatchable characters, so we have to wait for further episodes to really get what their full scope and scheme and plan for is. But essentially, they're the main bad guys for right now of Season 2. So that's pretty much all you need to know. But at the end of the day, comment below, let me know what you personally think about Gotham Season 2, Episode 1. I give it a 5 out of 10. I was whatever about it. I didn't like it. I didn't love it. I kind of liked it. There were a few things that were okay with it. But let me know what you personally thought about it. What did you think about Bruce Wayne's journey to become Batman? What did you think about Penguin now being the boss? What are your personal thoughts on Gordon going to the ends of the earth to get his job back? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments. And let me know what your personal thoughts are on the villains and the new villains of Season 2, like Jerome, Barbara, and those two other people who I completely forget their names, the brother and sister character. Let me know. And also, what are your personal thoughts on the Paul Costa of the Gotham universe? I know he's going to kill me for saying this on air, but come on. He knew it was coming. But comment below and let me know about, all these personal topics that really hit home to you. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, at JoshK12, if you've not done so already. Subscribe to my channel. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you also hopefully enjoyed Gotham Season 2, Episode 1. And comment below, let me know. And this has been JoshK12.